Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're watching us from. My name is Deborah Kisongochi, and this is my safe space on Number One TV and on our YouTube channel. Guys, thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. Thank you so much for watching our content. And today, we're still here at Del Suits Bungoma, an amazing space that gives us an opportunity to bring to you interesting conversations from across the globe, across Bungoma County, across the country, depending on where you're watching us from. Karibu sana to my safe space. And guys, as per usual, I've said we are Del Suits, and if you're in Bungoma County and you're looking for a space to just relax, to have a good time, maybe you want to host a baby shower, you want to host a birthday, you want to host a wedding, Del Suits Bungoma are your solution. And they also have Airbnb, so ukikuja hapa we have sherehe yako and you want to relax, they still have space for you to relax. They have Airbnb, and call them. The number is down here. Call them. Tell them Deborah of My Safe Space referred to you, and they'll give you an amazing discount. Thank you so much, guys. And as per usual, we have a guest on board today on our show. Nimekuwa nawasikiza sana mkisema Deborah analeta girl child peke yao. Today I've heard your cry, and we have a gentleman on board, and I'll give him an opportunity to introduce himself to you guys. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Thank you.
Should I say Karibu Bungoma?
It's all right.
Okay, Karibu My Safe Space on Number One TV and on our YouTube channel. So what we do here is we bring on board interesting conversations that can just inspire our generation. And as we always say on our show is, if we don't do it, no one else will do it. So it's an opportunity for you to introduce yourself to our viewers.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. My name is Zamira Harap.
Okay.
I'm a journalist by profession. It's my first time to be in this setting.
Oh, wow.
I'm actually enjoying it.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, it's great. It's great you're enjoying it. So when you say it's your first time being, because what people don't understand is in this profession, which is what I also do, there are different segments. So if you're saying you're a journalist and it's your first time being in such a setup, what do you mean?
Well, first, I'm in a very beautiful environment.
Yes.
To me, that is special.
For sure.
Because in itself, it's an element of inspiration. We normally operate in spaces that are very busy and a lot happening. So the fact that I got here and I felt the space, I'm actually inspired already.
That's a beautiful thing. So I think I want to anybody who wants to do journalism out there, you already know. It's a beautiful space. It's a space for you to explore, and that is why we're having repeat. I'm very sure I'm not the only one who is going to say, what did he say his name is?
Yes.
Zamira, right?
Zamira,
oh,
yes.
Wow. I think I got it. So maybe you can tell us more into how you got into journalism and what inspired you into journalism.
Well, I was born creative.
Okay. Wow.
That's what I can say.
Yeah.
And it's something that I discovered even as I grew up. And I remember back in my primary school days.
Yeah.
My family was involved in church a lot.
Yes.
So music was naturally attracting me.
Yes.
And I noticed it's an environment where you can be able to know how to play music and find a way to express it.
For sure.
And that in itself made me aware of creativity within me. And as I journeyed through, I was able to pay attention to how I can bring out the creativity in me. And I remember being enrolled for a music class when I was in class 5.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting because during the Sundays, during church, the only instrument available was the accordion.
Okay.
And the accordion was heavy, and I'm short. When I sit on the bench, my feet could hardly reach the ground. But I was able to put it on my laps and play it during services. The only challenge, though, it's more like a workout. Because the accordion, for those who've not interacted with the accordion, it's an air instrument. So you have to push and pull as you press on the notes so that you can get the music moving.
Yes.
So my dad was working with missionaries, and one of the missionaries said, "We are seeing talent here. So why not enroll him for piano lessons so that he can be able to build on the skill and be more useful in church. Yeah, and that in itself kind of set me up to a journey of identifying and unpacking my creativity.
The creativity in you.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So now it's let's say it's safe to say that your, will I call it your creativity or your career was discovered in church, right?
Yes, we can say that.
Wow. So did you pursue it in school, like after, let's say, high school? Did you go now to media studies, or you just went with creativity in it? Yeah.
Now, actually, since it was I was in an environment for active practice, I was able to learn the music as it is, be more active in church.
Yeah.
So as I went into high school, I got connected to fellow musicians. And in one way or another, we were able to build more on what I'd learned.
Yeah.
Because, you know, new songs come up every
day.
time.
True.
And the fact that you're connected with other professionals, you tend to enlarge your capacity. And I remember one of my mentors would tell me, I'm giving you a tape. Those days we were using tape.
Okay.
Yeah. And now here you're getting together to prepare for a conference.
Yes.
And as the music team, you're given like maybe 6 songs. And here the team leader is saying, go listen to this tape. And we are meeting after 3 days. You'd better play the songs as they are. And I can assure you that pushed me to be able to perfect on my music.
Yeah.
And I see that as a very great opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
And the fact that I was connected to the right environment enabled me to push myself, to understand that I can do beyond what I used to do.
For sure.
Yeah, because you know now you're interacting with a bigger community. When you're talking about a conference, you're looking at several churches coming together.
For sure.
So that brings an expectation. You're in front of people and you want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
I remember many nights of not sleeping early, just making sure you get those notes right. And that actually built me, because that's what I was doing actively in my high school.
Yeah.
And the good thing is the school where I was, because I've not been in a day school. I did. My high school was a day school.
Yeah.
And the very first year in my Form 1, those days we were wearing shorts and sweaters.
Okay. Not like trousers like today.
In fact, this trouser thing is a privilege for those.
But nowadays, even primary schools, they're doing trousers.
Yeah. And it's a good thing.
Yeah.
During that first term of my first year, there was a competition in school. Our school was competing with others, and this particular competition, we were supposed to write. We were supposed to write.
Yeah.
A topic was given that we write about.
Oh, okay.
And I felt within me, I can give this a shot.
For sure.
Yeah, because it's about creative expression. And I remember I went back home and I told my parents, there's this happening.
Yeah.
So I want to put my writing down and see where it takes me.
For sure.
Good enough, I took up the opportunity. I did my writing.
Yes.
After a short while, during the assembly, I remember the deputy principal said, "Now we have results for the writing competition."
Yeah.
And guess whose name was called? I'm like, oh. I didn't expect I would be featured. Among the winners.
Yes.
And there it was happening. I had to go in front of the assembly to be awarded for my writing.
Yes.
And to me, that was a milestone.
For sure, it is.
And I noticed, so there's more inside.
There is more to playing instrument.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to me, that was a very good moment to challenge myself to do even more. To look inside and see what more I have that I can be able to bring out.
Yeah.
And so my high school, that already kind of brought attention to me as a person. Because now I would even walk in the corridors and guys would be like, yeah, we know this.
You are a celebrity.
Well, so to speak. And So I carried that with me, and eventually there was a need to start up an English club.
Okay.
Can you imagine an English club in
Yes.
school?
Yes.
Okay, we had a journalism club, but I had friends who were also very highly motivated to come up with something new that was not there
Okay.
before in school.
Yeah.
And owing to that, we got together with my friends and we came up with a club. It was
An
called
English club.
English Perspective Club.
Okay.
Yes. And I think also basing on the name we'd already built in school, it started off so well. And it became a platform to be able to practice
Yeah.
English public speaking. And that also meant the fact that I was in that club,
Yeah.
I connected myself very well with a journalism club.
Yeah.
Because I saw relevance in both ends. Now, as much as I was in the English Perspective Club, I was good with drawing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would do cartoons. I would draw cartoons, and whenever there's an activity in school,
Yeah.
mine would be to capture what are these special moments that are happening, and then I do a comical representation of all that.
Wow.
And then we pin it on the notice board. Because, okay, we didn't have magazines then, but the notice board was very strategically placed, and I used that to showcase my work.
Wow.
And it was taken well. It was taken well. And over the years of high school, I was able to participate in capturing stories in the school.
Yeah.
In form of drawings, cartoon drawings.
Yes. Yes.
And that was a very nice experience for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Literally, I can call you a jack of all trades in high school.
High school.
Does this mean you really started like hustling in high school?
Yes.
Wow, that is an inspiration because you realize most of us journalists, I'll just say most of us because me and you are journalists.
Yes.
So most of us, we go to the journalism class and we want to be pioneers or let me say gurus in whatever we are doing, but there's no creative push behind us. But listening to your story, there was the creativity since class when you're 5 years until you're coming to high school and you're incorporating drawing, you're incorporating writing, you're incorporating storytelling into a whole package and that is journalism in itself.
Yes.
So, and you realize that maybe the journalism clubs even today in schools, and you realize kids come around. Sometimes I interact with the kids maybe in high school who want to do journalism.
Yes.
But there are clubs in school and they don't like partake in them and do the activities that are happening there. Maybe what can you tell maybe a high schooler who is maybe watching us today and they have these clubs in school? What is the essence of these clubs to their career growth?
Well,
yeah.
These clubs are designed to help us know what we are good at. And the journalism club is supposed to enable talented students to connect with their talent.
Yes, yes.
Present what they're able to present.
Yeah.
And have a space to nurture that. So every and any student who is in a school environment that has a journalism club, I actually encourage them to connect.
Yes, yes.
Be part of these clubs.
Yes, yes.
And get to participate. We're gifted differently.
True, we do.
Some of us are writers. So a journalism club is perfect to be able to express our writing.
Yeah.
Those of us who are good with drawings, drawing cartoons, that is a very good environment to show what you can be able to do.
Yeah, you can express your
your
creativeness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also have seen over time that our schools are opening up the assembly times for news.
Actually, I was a news anchor back in high school.
Awesome.
So yeah, during assembly we were given an opportunity to anchor news. So yeah, there are those opportunities even in high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the things I encourage clubs to have is to have a way to connect the school talent with the outside world. Because it's one thing for us to showcase what we can and what we have in the school environment.
Yes.
But it's another thing to take this out. And what better time than this, when we have social media happening, we can be able to have accounts where recordings can be posted.
Yes, yes, yes.
And connect with even other professionals so that the young people, the youth who have these talents, can be guided as they go further in pursuing their profession. Yes.
But now you've finished high school and you finished Form 4. How now did you dive into your career? Now that you know you can draw, you can illustrate cartoon work, you can write, you can do reporting. How did you now infuse it into a career and run with it in the long run?
Yes, because now when you're done with high school, the world there is actually waiting for you to show what you're made of.
All right. Yeah.
In my day, we didn't have computer lessons in school.
Yes, yes.
So one of the things I had to do was to enroll for computer lessons.
Oh, okay.
Get to know Windows, operating systems, Microsoft Word, and all that.
Yes.
So I did that, and immediately after that, I had thought of getting into, because my school had power mechanics.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe I can pursue something in mechanics.
Yes, yes.
But the fact that I interacted with computers, I discovered, I can do even so much with this computer.
Yes, 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 yes.
Then there I was thinking through where my next step would be. Then I decided to look into my existing market.
Yes, yes.
Look for people who are doing something similar with what my interest was.
Yeah.
Having interacted a bit with cameras during my high school,
yes, yes,
I felt I need to find friends whose day-to-day has everything to do with computers and cameras. And my father gave me a gift of a still photo camera.
Wow.
Remember, that was a Canon. For those who have interacted with cameras, Canon is a brand that is known.
Yeah.
And those days, the Canon he gave me was a still photo camera using a film strip. So you have to go buy the film, you load it, and take photos. After that, you have to take it back to the studio for developing. And now I'm here, I have this camera. But my heart was drawn towards motion picture.
Not still photos.
Not still photos.
Yeah.
And that was because I was not exposed to somebody or an environment that can actually show me photography is good. Now, what I did, I told my friends, now there was this particular guy who was very good with event documentation.
Yes, yes.
And I admired how he was doing his work. Around that time in Eldoret, when you're talking about event documentation, his name would pop number one.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And I said, now, this is the guy I need to align myself with. And I introduced myself to him. So he told me, well, what we can do, I can teach you on the job. See how this thing is done. Then perhaps you can know what next. So this meant whenever he had an event, I would be on his speed dial. Well, locally we say mtu wa mkono. You want to be there to be guided.
Handsman.
Yeah, handsman. Vuta hii bag, get this cable. And I was so excited.
Hold that thought. Guys, trust me, I've also been a hand woman.
Yes.
Even in this setup here, I've been a hand woman doing some wires here and there. But guys, today right here we are talking about the beauty of journalism and how you can pursue this career and make yourself who you are today. And guys, my name is Deborah Kisongochi, and we're still here with our guest, Mr. Zamira, a self-made journalist. Guys, if you've not been here, it has been a great listening to his story. Tumesikiza story yake na imekuwa poa sana, and we're still here with him. I'm very sure you are out there, you are at home, maybe umemaliza Form 4, ama uko in campus and you're doing journalism, and you've been looking for a reason to keep doing journalism. Make sure you're watching this interview. Karibu sana. And thank you so much for being here with us.
You're welcome.
So we were really diving into the conversation. Ukituambia story how now you started doing being mtu wa mkono.
Yes, mtu wa mkono.
A people of hands, as my director calls it. I don't know which school she went to. My apologies. So So now that is how you get into now the field work of journalism.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was the beauty of it is learning on the job.
Yeah.
So that
Oh,
means
it's true.
yes, you're seeing how A connects to B, connects to C,
Yeah.
and how you're able to bring out a result.
Yes, yes.
And this for me was very exciting. And every other time I was called for field work, I would be so excited.
Wow.
Because I remember it would mean showing up at this guy's office
Yes.
as early as 6:30 in the
Yes.
morning.
Yeah.
And that means you'll be on the ground all the way until past 7 p.m.
For sure.
So I learned that as much as I was very passionate about this, it also demanded of me to put in time. Put in
True.
time
True.
and more time.
Yeah.
Typically, there are jobs that we do from 8 to 5. But now this guy was showing me that if you want to deliver what is needed, you have to be here very early,
Yeah.
work through the pressure of the day, and end past 7 p.m. That is many hours. And that built resilience in me. I was now aware that if I'm to make something out of myself,
Yes.
I need to learn to put in time
And sacrifice.
and sacrifice. I also learned how to work with teams because now umetumwa place na siwe peke yako. There are like 3 or 4 other guys and you have to work with them, understand the needs,
Yes.
and be a valuable team player.
Yes.
And that actually opened my mind to be able to know how the system works.
Yes, yes.
And I'm grateful to this guy because he was able to push me into the waters so that I understand how to kick. And I decided to have a balance because I was studying the market then.
Yeah.
There was this guy and there was another one. This guy was, I would describe him as high-end. He was dealing with the high-end market.
All right.
And then there was this other guy who was dealing with the other market.
Wale wenye wanasema niko tu hata kama ni 3K ndakuja jioni.
Yes, yes. Absolutely. So so I had 2 very different worlds to try and study and see how they work. And that, I must say, gave me a balance. So I was able to know how to present myself, how to position myself, and also how to package my work. Because my end game was to get into this same industry where this high-end guy was and where this other guy was. So I was able to study both worlds, and I'm happy that it gave me an understanding of how things are done.
There's something you've mentioned, which is resilience and teamwork, and also sacrifice. And I think that's something that I've seen most of us youths are lacking in our careers. You get somebody gets into a career, maybe they've graduated maybe last year from a school of journalism, then she wants to take over Jeff Koinange's job in January the next year. And they have not like built a career for they cannot account for their journey to where they are today. So maybe the other day I was watching something on YouTube and a Gen Z was saying that they cannot work 8 to 5, and you realize journalism is beyond 8 to 5. Maybe what can you just tell any youth who is out there and they're looking into the journalism career?
If your presence has to be felt, you must burn the midnight oil. And there's a reason it's called the midnight oil. When everybody else is going to sleep, there has to be something that is still bothering you.
True.
There has to be something that is keeping you on your seat. So that you bring out the best of it to be able to show to the world. So there's no way you'll be expected to just jump from class and you're getting into the market and you want to just do an absolute takeover. Because there's a process. Putting in time means it will work on your character. It will work on your understanding of things. By the time you're coming out with something that can be shown to the world, it has costed you. So you have to pay the price.
You talked about burning the midnight oil. So in your story in high school, you were saying when people are going to sleep, you were thinking about how you're going to actualize the drawings.
Yes.
And through that, you're creating your creativity into a career. I just have a question. Maybe it's different for you, Ed, because mine is the same way. So does it mean when you are not sleeping in high school, are you sleeping right now?
It hasn't changed.
But you are building it for today. Why are you not sleeping?
The reason why I'm not sleeping is
Yeah.
every day
Yeah.
presents new opportunities. Every day is creating new challenges.
For sure.
And I want to be able to have solutions to the emerging challenges.
The world is changing.
Yes, the world is changing every other time.
Yeah.
And there's no better way to be ready for that without putting in time. So right now, there's a lot of information that comes perhaps online.
Yes,
you can be able to learn from others what they're doing and see how you can adapt it in your system, in your world. So to be able to achieve that, you have to check what other people are doing. And perhaps daytime would not be even the best time to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, when people are now sleeping, when it's time to rest.
Your mind is not resting.
Yeah, your mind is not resting. You want to see what is happening somewhere.
Yeah.
Am I able to adopt that and maybe customize it to suit my environment? Yeah, so rest, not yet.
Talking of digital spaces, as you've mentioned, the world is evolving every day, and AI is here with us. And somebody was saying, okay, it's a fact that AI might render some people jobless. Do you think AI can replace journalism?
Well, the beauty of the world right now is technology is there to make things easier and better for us, even as professionals. Personally, I can't say that AI is going to replace journalism.
Yeah.
Because you look at the way our industry works. If I can take you back, whenever we'd go out to capture stories, sometimes we'd interact with people from other media houses, mounting different cameras to get a story.
Yeah.
And at times, umetokea hapo, na camera yako is not as big as theirs. But you know, I'm here for something.
Yes.
And that drive, because the mind behind the camera
true,
is what will keep you afloat.
For sure.
Yes. You could be having one of the best cameras.
4K.
Yes, 4K. And all that hula baloo.
Yes.
But if the operator of this camera is not up to the game, then that's just an equipment.
Very true.
That's why I say, as much as technology is there and a lot is changing, the mind behind the camera matters.
Very true.
So you have to keep working on yourself, so that whether you have a 4K or a camera,
or even a phone,
you can still be able to pull very good shots. And get your agenda moving.
Yes. Wow. I had to ask that because sometimes I interact with students who are doing journalism, and they'll tell you, I can't pursue this because we've been told technology is changing, AI is taking over everything. Maybe is there a way in your line of work you've incorporated in mentorship to young journalists or upcoming journalists, so that they can just have a voice that has been in the field to tell them that this is a career that is worth pursuing?
Yes, yes, I have. I've journeyed through doing work for different clients, left, right, center.
Yes.
And one of the things I must say, one of the things that motivated me as I got into this work.
Yes.
Mimi niliingia kwa hii job kuuza story. Okay? Wengine walikuwa wanasema you need like 120 Gs to get a serious camera that can shoot a wedding. Mimi nikiangalia left, nikiangalia right, sioni penye hiyo 120 Gs inatoka. Baadaye ashanipea camera, still photo camera, na ni a still.
And back then a still camera was a still camera. Yes. Nowadays you can get something that can multitask. Exactly.
So, I noticed if I'm to get into this market, what am I selling? I'm selling stories. And I decided to look into weddings. Well, I'm passionate about love stories.
Yes.
How people met, connecting beauty with a story that makes sense. So when I...
Do you think of what you work sana?
Well, I decided not to think about that.
You can go on.
So I decided for me to make sense, for me to enter this market, what I'm bringing in is a great story. So every time I would interact with clients, couples who are saying, now we have a wedding, can you please come on board and do a story for us?
Yes.
Mimi nilihakikisha by the time nimemaliza nao wanajua I'm going to do the best love story. And that is what kept me moving.
Yeah.
So I was never scared about who has what camera, what big camera happens where. Never.
Yeah.
And I made sure by the time I'm delivering a job to a client,
Yes.
I have sold the best story ever. And that is how I was able to get in. And I was not necessarily working with big cameras. In fact, I was just working with handycams.
Okay. Wow.
Handycams that had nothing extraordinary. The only extraordinary thing I was doing was just a good story. Show these people that their love story is worth watching.
And that is the creativity that AI cannot give us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is, and and the beauty about creativity, it is different in different people. So the way you tell your story, the way he tells his story, the way I tell my story is totally different.
It's totally different.
Yes.
So the notion that AI has come and it might kick some people out, if you do not have your hands on your creativity, then you have a reason to be worried.
For sure.
Because that is what I've been selling. My creativity.
Yeah.
So that notion doesn't work. It should be debunked.
Yeah.
The mind behind the camera is what keeps you relevant, and that is what is working for me. Yeah, that's why every other day I know big cameras are happening, expensive cameras are coming in.
Yeah.
But the ability to tell good stories is what's keeping me moving.
Yes. Yes. Well, personally, I come from a family where my mom is a teacher, and she was telling me that in today's curriculum called CBC, that honestly I don't understand. I'm a CBC parent, but I don't understand anything. She was telling me they're incorporating in things like media studies.
Yes.
And you realize teachers who are teaching in primary schools did not do media studies. Do you think our children are being given a raw deal in some things in CBC? And how can now professionals who are out here come in and fill the gap?
Fill the gap.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a gap actually. CBC is designed to help students connect with their talents.
Yes.
And that, I think, is a plus. It's a good thing that we didn't have.
Yeah, true.
Now, we understand that teachers have not interacted with equipment.
Yeah.
They're not aware of how journalism works.
Yes.
I urge every institution that is offering CBC to be on the lookout to network with professionals like us.
For sure.
So that we can be able to bring value to this new system.
Yes, yes.
By this I mean through networking, we can be able to have arrangements where students in schools can be exposed to what this industry is like.
Wow.
And I have been able to work with different schools, especially on matters of understanding cameras, matters of writing, building their writing skills, and also on public speaking.
Wow.
And I can assure you the results are good.
Wow.
Students in class interacting with the camera and seeing how they can be able to put their ideas, roll into that thing, has been an amazing experience.
Yes.
And because of that, I have come up with a program.
Wow.
I have come up with a program called the Digital Young Journalists.
Okay.
What we do, we interact with schools that are open to the idea of networking with professionals like us. And then we have sessions with the students. And every school will tell you we have particular students who are talented.
Wow.
So what we do in those sittings, we have a very nice environment to tell them, okay, this is how your talent can work out there. This is how we can package your public speaking skills.
Yes.
This is how we can package your writing. And then we are able to show them what the processes are, how cameras come in, how microphones come in, how presentation, self-presentation is done. And they're able to package their stories and share both with the school community and beyond.
Wow.
And that has been a success. It's been a success for the schools that we have interacted with. So I challenge any and every school that is keen on making CBC work to link with us.
Wow. Guys, I told you we bring the gurus on this show, and Mr. Jamina has told us that he runs a program called Digital Young
Journalists.
digital young journalists. So kama uko we ni Gen Z, or you are a teacher in a school where young professionals or young kids want to venture into journalism career, make sure you reach out to him. Maybe utuambie how can they get you.
Oh yes. I can be found on my phone number.
Yeah, you can share your phone number for sure.
My number is 0723 340 413. So that's my phone number.
Wow.
0723 340 413. I'm also on Facebook.
Yes.
So on Facebook, you can get me on Zemira Harap. Better still, you can look for digital young journalists.
Yes,
Direct, you can be able to find us there and we can connect.
Yes. Wow. I'm very sure. I don't know if is it a digital? Guys, you tell me, am I still a digital young journalist? Because I also want to join this program and benefit from it, because every day is a learning process. And as we hear on this show, we bring you experts in the industries who can be able to build your capacity in whatever thing that you're doing. And Mr. Zamina has told us that he runs a program, and I'm very sure it's going to be beneficial for the people of Bungoma and the Western region at large. So if you're out there and you want to join the digital young journalists, guys, digital is the way to go. So if you're out there and you want to venture your career in journalism, you have to. This one is not if you want, if you have to join digital young journalists, and let us all grow together and network as journalists in the Western Kenya. Thank you so much for watching my Safe Space today on my YouTube channel and on Number One TV. It has been an amazing session. We learn every day. I'm a journalist, but I've been just here being like, because I've been learning in the whole process. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. My name is Deborah Kisongochi.